morning. Good morning, everyone. My name is Brian, and I'm here to talk about early childhood bicycle education. This is copyright 2018 by KOKUA Bikes USA LLC. All rights reserved. The goal is to bring bicycle education to children as young as 2 years old and like the excitement of freedom on two wheels. Balance bikes appeal to children of multiple ages. When I first started with balance bikes at the Museum of Art, the 2 to 5-year-old children had older siblings standing with longing. With 16-inch wheel, LikeaBike, and now LikeaTRIKE all participate. This is a quote from a mother of a participant at the 2016 Honolulu Museum of Art Bike Day. "My autistic child is always left out of these activities. Look at him smiling ear to ear. He is part of the gang. Thank you for including him." Today we're going to talk about before the event setup, during the event, packing up, and follow-up. Look for events that involve families and children, especially small children. Here in the background you see a slide for the Bank of Hawaii Family Sunday at the Honolulu Museum of Art. The word family tells us already there's going to be children. Ask the event coordinator lots of questions. Reach out to preschools, confirm events, and publish a calendar specifically for early childhood bicycle education, and establish a volunteer pool and train them. That's why we're here watching this presentation. Establishing volunteers. Look to high school service projects. Many high schoolers need a certain amount of volunteer hours to graduate. Look to seniors that love kids and bicycling. Crucial to success is that volunteers are treated as though they are employees you are paying for. You would not waste the time of someone you are paying, so be respectful with the time of the volunteer, and you'll always have volunteers. Create a shift schedule to allow volunteers time for a break, time to enjoy the entire event. Confirming your events. Ask lots of questions. What is the fee? Can we come for free because we are offering a community service? Never hurts to ask. Will volunteers be fed meals or snacks? Is there water? Can we sell memberships or shirts, etc.? What will be provided? Tables, chairs, tents, natural shade? Is there a shady area where we can run our event? What are the insurance requirements? Who is covered? Some stations you're going to want to set up during the event are a waiver information table, helmet fitting, bike fitting. The largest is the field or the course, and then a dismount station, a survey sales station. It's great to talk to people after they've had a chance to use the activity, and a roving kokuru. A kokuru is someone who helps with knowledge. And in this diagram, I've shown 2 different ramp setups. One with the ramps on the same side, shown in blue triangles, and the yellow triangles show 2 ramps set up in opposing. So a kokuru is a word that I developed. It's combining kokua, which means to help out in the Hawaiian language, and guru, which is a teacher, guide, expert, master in the Sanskrit language. Keep an eye on the care of the riders toward each other and to the equipment is the primary objective of a kokuru. We use a zero tolerance policy. If children are banging the equipment into objects or other bicyclists, we walk up politely and ask them to please return the bike to us. Here in yellow, you see Patricia. She's been a real hero with the volunteer leadership of Hawaii Bicycling League and really our mentor for doing these events at the Honolulu Museum. And down in the bottom corner, you see me, Brian, and my youngest son, Lazaro, who's an avid KOKUA rider ever since he was 2 years old. The sign-in information table. People are going to ask, "Hey, can we ride?" And you want to say, yes, rides are free. We just ask that you sign the waiver and use a helmet. Someone will always say, I don't want my child to wear a community helmet because of lice. Well, a helmet is required. Lice is not likely if the child takes a bath that night, and you're welcome to use your own helmet. We want to make friends, ask friendly questions to engage the parents, make a dialogue. How old is your child? Are you excited to ride today? And then pass this information to the helmet station and the bike fitters. Hey, Alan, we have a 3-year-old first timer here ready to ride, etc. This will help make an introduction for that person who needs to serve the child next. And always feel free to hand out some type of a fact sheet. You can hand out a HBL membership form, League of American Bicyclists form, any kind of information that you want to get out to the parents. This is a great time to do it. At the helmet station, lay the helmets on a table to take care of them, and so volunteers do not need to bend over. We use 2 size helmets. Both are adjustable and both have adjustable straps. We line them up with the small size on one end so it's easy to find those small size helmets. We usually only keep a few of them around for the really tiny children. We put the helmet on, turn the rear dial, and then use the bottom buckle and then adjust the ear straps. A lot of times the children are really excited to get on that bike, and so we don't spend as much time as we would like to, but it is a good time to show parents on a proper helmet fit. Helmets will get sweaty if the activity is not in the shade. This happened once where they were dripping wet, so bring a towel. So let's talk about the equipment that we use. We use 10 LIKEaBIKE jumpers, 5 LIKEaBIKE Maxi, 1 LIKEaBIKE Mini, and 1 LIKEaBIKE Midi. KOKUA Bikes developed LIKEaBIKE in 1997 in Rotgen, Germany. The word KOKUA is actually the name of the forest behind their house. The LIKEaBIKE is the first modern day running bike. The first ever, according to Wikipedia, is 1815 by a German designer. Look it up, it's pretty cool. So KOKUA LIKEaBIKE was started by a designer, his wife, and the designer's brother. The designer had a 3-year-old son that would never get tired, so he decided to make him a running bike. Thus, he and his wife could go for long walks, and the son would be using an active stroller, getting out all that energy. Beate and Rolf still run the day-to-day of KOKUA bikes, and the 3-year-old son is now grown up and he's a physicist. So let's talk about LIKEaTRIKE first. People will always come up and say, my child does not know how to ride a bike. May she please use the trike? Or may he please use the trike? And a polite answer would be, LIKEaTRIKE are reserved for children with special needs. We are here to give children the opportunity to balance on 2 wheels. Please allow at least 5 to 10 minutes of trials, and then we can see if the trike is available or not being used by a child of special needs. Here's a rider who's too big for the LIKEaTRIKE. He's too tall, and we can identify this because the thighs are almost parallel to the ground. So how can he push? Sometimes we allow this so that the child can be part of the gang. LIKEaTRIKE is about inclusivity. Remember that quote from the beginning of the presentation? LIKEaTRIKE and LIKEaBIKE wood can withstand the adult weight. The seat bolts will deform before the wood fails. So let's talk about the LIKEaBIKE jumper. The jumper has a steering damper to avoid jackknifing. It's like a big rubber band underneath the steering wheel so that they can't turn it 90 degrees, which is when the bike stops and the child flips over. And there's a shock to relieve the pounding on the child's body. It's right behind the seat post. It's that orange-shaped elastomer. On some of the bikes, they're gray. So we start with 10 jumpers and 5 additional seat posts with seats already mounted. 5 of the bikes have the short seat post and 5 with the long. And then we adjust from there. There's a quick release lever at the bottom of the seat post that you can open up, pull out the seat and seat post, and swap it out with a short or a long, depending upon the child's size. We'll look at sizing later. And here we have LIKEaBIKE Maxi. We bring 5 wood Maxi, and they're all set at different heights. It's not so fast to change the seat height. it requires removing the seat bolts, aligning the first holes with the first seat bolt, and then the second. It takes a little bit of time and skill. So usually we lay the bikes on their side on the ground so we can see the seat post length. If you have a seat post rack or a bike rack, you can do that as well. The touch point here is the tire and the grip end, which is triple-ended. The kids can throw the bikes down and it's really not going to affect the bike. It takes a while to run through the three parts of the triple-ended grips. So the child walks up and we usually ask the age. 2 to 3 years old, we use a jumper with the short seat post. And 3 to 5 or even 6 years old, we use a jumper with the long seat post. When we say 5 or 6 years old, we're looking at the weight, 40 to 50 pounds for the aluminum jumper. Taller, heavier children must ride the wood LIKEaBIKE. And then the 5 wood LIKEaBIKE are set at different heights. Just like we said, it's not so fast to change. We usually just ask the child, can you just wait a few minutes? Someone will be off one of the bigger bikes soon. And they usually don't have a problem. They're a little more patient than the younger children. So we stand the child next to or over the bike to look at the right fit. This is what I was talking about with the seat post clamp. And there's marks at the bottom of the seat post. And you can have the marks showing, but not as much as this customer sent me this photo, because it stretches the seat post tube down on the bottom, which makes it hard to get the seat post all the way down. Take a look at this bottom photo. You see the red line. We never want to have the seat taller than the top of the stem. So like I said, stand the child next to the bike. The ideal balance bike riding fit is where the child is seated with legs slightly bent. The feet must be flat on the ground. The reason is those are their brakes. So stand the child next to or over the bike, and the seat should be, for the wood bikes, about 1 inch or so below the crotch. And for the aluminum jumper, the seat can go all the way to the crotch because of the elastomer. Here are some examples of good fit. You see the child standing over the orange jumper. His butt is just a little bit up. He's got his legs straight, but once he sits down, he'll have bent legs. You see the boy on the LIKEaTRIKE. His legs are slightly bent so he can push and brake. He is a special needs child. Take a look at the left leg. And then the girl with the silver shoes, she's running through the corner. Her legs are slightly bent. Her arms are straight out, which allows her to actually bend her arms to turn. Then the boy on the wood bike, he's kind of a questionable height because he looks good. His legs are slightly bent. But when he goes to try to stop, he's sticking his legs way out there, so he's stopping on his tippy toes rather than using the whole bottom of his foot. So as a kokuru, be looking for any kind of dangers that could be involved with that. So for the bike field or the course, we place the ramps with a good distance between them. If they're on the same side, we put them about 20 feet apart. You can judge that by the width of a parking stall is anywhere from 7.5 to 9 feet. So 2 to 3 parking stalls distant is great. Envision a type of an oval. Children will make the rules as more children are, or as more riders are added. With just a couple out there, they'll zigzag all over the place. As more are added, they'll start to form lines behind the ramp and they'll do kind of a big circle. Think safety. Where is the child going to roll to if they go off the course? And then try to find a high side of your area. Typically, a parking lot will have a slope to it so that the water can run. You want to try to find the high side and direct the children up to that area, and then they can roll down with a little bit of momentum, which allows them to get some speed and pick up their feet. So find a high side where they can push to the top and then roll with good momentum, just like I was saying.
All right, go for it, buddy. All right, go for it, buddy.
Nice, right? So the ramp design, the purpose is to give the children the opportunity to propel the bike without kicking. The the speed from the ramp is too fast for the child to keep their feet on the ground, where they try to kind of walk side to side with the bike. So the ramp is key. Look at this boy coming off the ramp on the wood bike. He picked up his feet, and he's going to have the momentum to propel the bike forward. When building the ramps, I always use the mantra, go light but sturdy. The bigger the ramp, the heavier the ramp. The harder it's going to be to haul around, to move around, to load, to unload. And then be careful of wet ramps. I haven't had to deal with this in an event yet. Here are some sample measurements that I use. 5.5 to 7 inches tall at the center, 54 to 58 inches long, and 20 to 22 inches in width. You'll see that to get the plywood to bend, I cut notches 1 inch apart, half the thickness of the plywood, which allows the plywood to flex in the middle section. And then I give it some kind of form or a shape. What I've done is nothing fancy by any means. It was made with scrap wood, but they've held up for over 2 years at multiple events, and they just have a primer coat on it. So no kind of slick type of paint. So here's an example where the girl takes a first try on the ramp. You can tell by the look on her face, she's got butterflies in her stomach. And imagine yourself, when you've jumped off of something, you get those butterflies in your stomach. And then the second video we're gonna see, she's gotta try the ramp again, and watch the smile as she leads up to it. Oh, the second video is going first. That was her second time on the ramp. She's running over to tell her mom. And then here, this was her first try. Whoa, what was that about? Oh, look at that smile. That's so awesome. There it goes again. First try on the ramp. And the second. She even kind of went off the side, but she's able to recover. She's already kicking the bike. That's pretty cool. So the instructions to the first time rider, we tell them to sit on the seat and push with both feet at one time. Make an upside down peace sign with your index and middle fingers, and then wave your fingers together back and forth as though they are legs moving in unison. This helps the children that are so young that they don't really understand what you're saying. Let's watch here. This child is trying to walk the bike. See, when he pushes with both feet at one time, then it requires that they balance. Here's a combination of pushing with both feet and starting at the top of the sloping plane. Let's watch. See how she's picking out, she can push with both feet, and she's putting her feet out so when she has to tip, she can recover. So, do's and don'ts. Do encourage the children with a fun voice, tone, and a smile. Do encourage parents that feel the need to help the child only to hold the body. Look how the father in this photo is holding his child. That's exactly perfect, but only after I caught him holding the handlebar. Don't hold the bike. The child and you can explain this to the parent, the child needs to feel the bike under them, how it moves and wiggles. The control comes from the body. If a parent holds the bike, the child does not adjust their body, and then they lean against the assistance, kind of like the negative effects of training wheels. There he goes. So the child picks up his feet and the father can push him. It's not the most comfortable for a parent, but at least the child learns how to control the bike. Here are some images. Do not hold the handlebar. Inevitably, the parents will want to hold the handlebar or look in the bottom left corner. You see the father earlier, he was holding the child's arm. The child needs to control the bike, and the parent can hold the body, just like the picture on the right. All the ones on the left, please don't. So in summary, we're going to look for events, develop a volunteer team, set up and conduct events, smile and be happy, and then look to expand early childhood bicycle education. How do we expand? Well, you can develop a survey for public events allowing respondents to offer suggestions. When you hear from the parents how they want to have early childhood bike education, it's the best way. Parents ask for special instruction. Perhaps we can develop small group instruction on a weekly basis. Parents love classes where it's $8 to $20 per class, 1/2 hour to 45 minutes, something short, where they have a regular scheduled activity to go to. Look for indoor venues to avoid weather cancellation. We have outdoor pavilions, we have community centers at the district parks, other churches that have assembly halls. And then we can offer early childhood bicycle education to preschools, similar to 4th grade bike ed program that Hawaii Bicycling League uses. Perhaps we can lecture at luncheons like the Rotary Club, show some videos of the positive effects that these programs are having on our earliest, youngest riders. We want to build a new generation of cyclists. Want to extend a major thank you, mahalo, to the Hawaii Bicycling League for all their support and collaboration, to the Honolulu Museum of Art for their year after year allowing us to ride bikes in the museum, to the volunteers that have made past events possible, not only at the museum, but Child and Youth Day at the state capitol. The League of American Bicyclists have been very supportive in expanding this program, perhaps nationwide, once we work on it here in Hawaii. I'm very grateful to Bill Nesper, the acting executive director. And to KOKUA Bikes, that's me, Brian Canavari. KOKUA Bikes USA has been distributing and selling KOKUA bikes in the USA, previously as LikeaBike Hawaii since early 2014, and as KOKUA Bikes USA since the beginning of 2016. So 4.5 years we've been doing this, and we really are here to see children ride, smile, and have fun. Thank you for your time, and aloha.